So let's take a look. This is the introduction that I've just come up with. I have started with the dialogue. I have used adverbs. I've used adjective phrases like waited with bated breath to show not tell. Okay, so I've already used a number of strategies here. Now, I'm going to purposely think about either a metaphor or a simile to describe Mr. Ang's appearance, okay? Because I want his appearance to be very dramatic, right? I don't want him to just walk into class, right? So I want some kind of maybe a simile, okay? Okay, so as you can see, I have used, I was thinking about a simile, but I changed my mind. I decided to use a metaphor instead. Okay, so like a thundery storm cloud, okay, is simultaneously a metaphor and a show not tell as well. And then his eyes glared at us like daggers, okay? So he moved like a thundercloud and he stared like daggers. Okay, so obviously I'm trying to show you that he is very fierce. I'm not telling you, but I'm showing you that he's fierce. So it's metaphor and at the same time it's show not tell. Then I also use senses, right? Hushed in expectation. Okay, the class suddenly became very quiet. Y'all can imagine, everybody is very noisy. Then suddenly everybody just kept totally silent. So I'm using the hearing, right? The sense of hearing to suddenly describe to my reader the immediate silence that falls on the class as Mr. Pang appears, okay? Right. Now I'm going to talk about my reaction to his appearance, right? Okay, so I had a fearful premonition. Fearful is an adjective that describes premonition. A premonition simply means like a bad feeling, right? Sometimes when you see something happening, you have a bad feeling that something else is about to happen. That's a premonition, okay? A premonition is like a bad feeling that you are going to get into more trouble than you already are in. Okay, so this is a very good technique to use when you are trying to get your readers to be in suspense, right? So they're worried, what's going to happen to you next, okay? So now I'm going to flash forward in the story to the point of the confrontation, right? I've already given you a setting. I've introduced my characters and I've given you some clues about what's about to happen. There's going to be a confrontation between me and this teacher, Mr. Ang. And this confrontation is going to actually change my mind and bring me to respect and to admire Mr. Ang instead of hating him like I first do. So notice, I don't like him at first, right? It's very clear. So let's go to the next paragraph, right? Okay, so please go ahead. So I want to flash forward into the conclusion, into the climax. I don't want to waste too much time talking about what happened because that's not important. The fact that he scolded me, the fact that I didn't bring things, the fact that I got into a lot of trouble, that's not the important thing. Because remember, it's about someone I admire. It's not about me being a bad student, right? So I got to quickly move to the climax where I talk about how I admire him or I learned to admire Mr. Ang, right? So I don't want to spend too much time talking about how I forget or didn't do this or didn't do that. So I just use 2 sentences to summarize. Here you can summarize. Don't summarize the climax, but you can summarize the unimportant part so you can get very quickly over to the important part. So now let's move on. So okay, let me stop here for a while and let me revise with you some of the features that I'm using. Again, constantly is an adverb. In an effort, I'm starting with preposition. In an effort to catch up, in is a preposition. Surprised, I sneaked over and peeked in. Surprised is a past participle. So I'm starting my sentence with a past participle, all right? Okay, kernel sentence, short sentence, Mr. Ang. So I focus on what I see. So I peeked into the classroom, Mr. Ang, right? So I use the short sentence to kind of like focus the camera on Mr. Ang alone in the classroom in the wee hours of the morning, right? Remember, I come early, the corridor is still dark, nobody else is around. I peek into the classroom. What do I see? Mr. Ang, full stop. Okay, so I use a short sentence for dramatic effect. All right. So again, I'm already using about 4 or 5 strategies already. Okay, I'm going to stop here for a while so y'all can catch up. Okay, I'm finishing already. Next paragraph is the last paragraph. I'm ending the story. Okay, so you will notice that it's about 11:35. We started at 11:05. This is the half-hour mark, right? So at the half-hour mark, I'm already 3/4 of the way through my story. And the main bulk of my story, these two paragraphs here, have all to do with the conflict inside of me, right? So at first, I didn't like him. But then as I discovered what he was doing, my mind is slowly changing. As I talk to him, right, I become a little bit more aware of his, kindness and whatever. Okay, then my struggle is going to happen, and then I'm going to change my mind. Okay, right? Okay, so very quickly, so show not tell. Okay, so this one, show not tell. Okay, corridors were dark, but the lights in the classroom were on. This also show not tell, because I'm saying that it's very early in the morning, right? So I'm not telling you it's early in the morning, but I'm telling you that the corridors are dark so that you can infer that even the corridor lights have not been turned on yet. Okay. Then over here, okay, sneaked over and peeked in, right? This is again show not tell. So I'm being very stealthy because I'm not really certain what's going on. I'm uncertain, right? So I'm kind of like just going over to have a look. Then I use broom in hand. I'm actually using variation in sentence structure. I'm starting with the object, not the subject. Okay. Okay, so he will place stacks of worksheets in the corners and check under the table. So this is show not tell, because I'm telling you that this person is very caring, right? So he's doing all this for his students, and I'm not telling you he's a caring teacher. I'm showing you what he does, right? He does this and then he does that. Okay, then this part here is actually the internal conflict, right? So my character thought that this teacher is very fierce, don't like the teacher, don't like the things that the teacher does, right? Then doesn't want to come to school, right? Always doesn't finish work on time, doesn't hand up work on time. Then here, it suddenly dawns on the character, oh, actually, right, all these things that we are doing, right, we didn't even know that the teacher was preparing it. Okay, so again, it's the internal conflict, right? What I thought at first, teacher very fierce. Now I realize, oh, actually teacher very caring, did all these things for us. So that is the internal conflict that takes place in this story. There's no external conflict, right? Because there's no enemy, there's no bully. But this is a very good story to use internal conflict, okay? And imagine if I don't start with internal conflict, the story is very boring, right? If I start out respecting and liking the teacher, then there wouldn't be a story to write, right? The reason why I'm writing this story is because I changed my mind. Okay, this story is about how I grow to respect, grow to admire this person for his diligence. So again, diligence in what? Diligence in preparing, diligence in working to make sure that the classroom is ready, diligence in making the worksheets, diligence in staying up late at night to prepare the lessons. So I'm putting all this into the story, the quality of diligence, right? The guiding question, remember, the quality of diligence. And then how is this person special? This person is special because so diligent. Then wake up way earlier than anybody else to go to school. And then he's already in the classroom. Everywhere else all dark. Only that classroom with the light on. Okay. So again, I'm using all of this to construct a story that has something quite special about it. Okay, so it's not just your normal teacher, not just your normal student, not just your normal classroom. There's something special about this. Okay, that's why I'm writing this story. Okay, then again, ducking quickly. Ducking is like, I quickly, like, I don't want to draw attention to myself. I quickly, sneak into the classroom. Again, this is starting with the present participle, ing. Okay, and then shyly, this is an adverb that tells you how I greeted Mr. Ang, not boldly, not, in a very confident manner, but a bit shy because I'm not sure what's going on, right? Yeah. And then gently is another adverb that tells me that Mr. Ang is not usually gentle, right? He's usually very fierce. But in this case, when I'm alone and I've just come early, he is a very gentle person. He speaks to me very nicely. Okay, so again, there is that difference. I want to show that conflict, that difference between the fierce Mr. Ang and now the gentle and the nice Mr. Ang. Okay, then Mr. Ang and I chatted about family. All of this is show not tell. That means I'm telling you that the teacher is very caring. Okay, the teacher is actually concerned about me and not just about the homework that I hand up and not just about meeting the deadlines. Because in the beginning, I said, right, he always force us to meet deadline, always ask us to hand up homework. So, I feel very stressed out. Okay. But here I talk to him, and then down here, this is the internal conflict again. Okay. As I'm talking, right, my respect and my mind changes, my heart changes, my respect and admiration grows for him. Okay. Then why is it that it grows? Because all these things. Okay. This entire thing here is the reason why my mind changes. And this is the reason why I admire him. Again, a lot of this ties into the theme. So I go back to the theme. I always go back to the theme, right? The more I write about the theme, the higher the marks I will score. So always be very aware that everything you write must go back to the theme, which is someone I admire. So why do I admire him? Because of all these things, okay? Then, as a result of this admiration, right, I become aware that my earlier conduct, my earlier behavior, my earlier thoughts were not correct. Then I feel ashamed, okay? And that my behavior now seems childish to me. So this actually is kind of like my internal thoughts, okay? It's kind of like I'm telling the reader, right, what I think about myself now that the teacher is, revealed for who he is, okay? Then I end my paragraph. I can end my story already because I've already met the target. Someone worth admiring, my teacher. What quality does this person possess? Very hardworking. How does this person seem special? Well, this person did all these things. That's what makes this person special. So I've already met all of my theme. I've already shown you what quality the person possesses and why is it so special. And I've used the picture, the second picture of the teacher in the classroom, right? I've already talked about how this is a teacher and I'm his student. So all clear. I can finish my story already, okay? So okay, remember the teacher is an English teacher, or you can say maths or whatever it is, right? But in this case, hold on. Yeah, in this case, right, I'm talking about transformation in the way that I thought of English, okay? Okay, I might be a little bit more dramatic about this lah. Okay, grew by leaps and bounds is an expression, right? You all know that it means like to grow very dramatically by a lot. Okay, by the end of the year, I shocked my parents by topping the class. Okay, maybe lah, just be a bit dramatic lah. The subject. Walking up on stage to receive the prize from the principal. I could not help but glance over at Mr. Ang, who was beaming proudly by the side of the stage. I could not help tearing a little as I flashed him a brilliant smile Thank you, Mr. Ang. You are truly someone I admire. Okay, there you go. So what have I done here? I have actually ended with this keyword to tell the reader and the marker that I have recognized the theme from the beginning to the end. So I am writing this line here to remind the marker that, hey, you know, I am very, very focused on the theme. Don't forget that I wrote the theme all the way through, and even at the end, I'm writing about the theme, okay? So when I do this, right, I am reminding the marker that I'm on task. I have not gone outside the theme. And when I end with the keyword, right, or I end with something like the keyword, right, I am telling the marker, I'm putting a big flag there to say, hey, you cannot fail me, no? Because I have written a story that is about the theme, right, and about the picture. So at the very least, I should get 23, 24, okay? So this is a good practice. Every time when you write your story, right, always aim to end your story with the words of the theme. You don't have to use exactly the words, but something along the lines of the theme to kind of like summarize how everything has been about, in this case, Mr. Ang, the person I admire. Okay, so that way is a nice closure to the story, and I assure myself that at the very least, my content will pass. Right, my language, if I make a lot of mistakes, whatever, but my content at least I will pass because I have followed through and I have written according to the theme. Okay, so again, in the days that followed, this is also starting with the preposition. Zaki, are you paying attention? Please pay attention, thank you. Right, so there was a transformation in the way that I thought of English. My interest and performance grew by leaps and bounds. So grew by leaps and bounds is another good expression. All right, it's a good. Are you all writing this down? Zaki, have you finished writing this already? Okay, please remember to mark and highlight. Okay. All right, so by the end of the year, again, another prepositional phrase that is beginning. The sentence instead of beginning with a subject, I begin with a prepositional phrase. By the end of the year, okay. Shocked my parents by topping a subject. Walking up on stage. Walking up is another example of a present participle, ing, walking up on stage. I could not help but glance over. Glance is another good word to use instead of look over, glance over. Okay, proudly is another adverb. So you notice I use a lot of adverbs, a lot of adjectives and a lot of descriptive phrases and a lot of adverbs. I jump at every opportunity to describe the verbs and the nouns. Okay, so that's your practice. You should be alert to using as many adjectives and adverbs as possible. I'm going to send you some model compositions after this, about 5 or 6, where you can see how I use adverbs and adjectives to add to the details. You can read through it, okay? I'll send it to you after this lesson is over, right? And then at the end, I end off with the entire theme that reminds my examiner that I have been writing on task, okay? So I repeat once again, step 1, look at the theme. Step 2, look at the picture, choose one. Step 3, link the picture back to the guiding questions. There's always 2 guiding questions. Step 4, look at the conflict that you want to write. In this case, my conflict was, at first, I don't like teacher, now I like teacher. That's the conflict, okay? The change in my mind, the internal conflict, okay? Finally, after I follow through these 4 steps, I come back and I begin to write the story. And as I write the story, I'm following through the story very quickly using certain techniques. Like I start with dialogue, I give you a setting, I introduce all my characters, then I go into the problem straight away. I don't waste time talking about waking up, brushing teeth, going to whatever. That's not important. Summarize, immediately link over to that confrontation. Straight away, I'm in the classroom, right? And I'm about to encounter Mr. Ang, and then my mind is about to change about him. Then the next 2 paragraphs, the bulk of the story, the main body of the story, I'm writing about how my mind is changed because of this encounter with Mr. Ang, right? I see what he's doing, then I talk to him, then I realize, hey, actually, he's not that bad, right? And then I grow to respect and admire him because of his diligence and because he is outstanding. He's very special. He wakes up earlier, he comes, prepares lessons for us, whatever. Okay, then, and to end off everything, I just say that, at the end of the day, because of his, specialness, because I respect him so much, I do well in the subject. And then because I do well in the subject, I thank him for it, right? Why? Because I admire him. And you'll see the flow of the story is actually quite simple. But how much, that's the key question, how much would I score if I write a composition like this? Okay, easily above 30, easily. Okay, easily above 30, right? Because of all the techniques I've just shown you that I've used. Okay, so I do a laundry list very quickly. And remember, I've already finished writing. It's 11:52. So I actually took about 45 minutes to write this story. 45 minutes. Okay, and that was even after I explained to you and I talked a lot in between writing. So actually, if I take away all my talking, right, I can finish this story in less than half an hour. All right, so the actual length of the writing is quite short. So let's go through. What have I used? I've used show, not tell. I've used starting with dialogue. Okay, I've used adverbs and adjectives. Okay, I've used metaphors. Okay, and similes. Okay, what else have I used? Show, not tell, starting with a dialogue. I've used conflict, internal. Okay, I've used internal conflict. Okay, I've used short sentences. Actually, I only use 1 short sentences. I've only used 1 short sentence, right? But that's good enough. Mr. Ang, remember Mr. Ang, right? That's good enough. Then I've started sentence with participles. I've used present and past participles to start the sentence. Okay, so I've used all of these features, okay, and more. Actually, if I want to look inside, I can find even more. But mainly, I would say show, not tell is the most important, because show, not tell, I can use adverbs and adjectives. That kind of works together with show, not tell. Yeah, so actually this comes under this. Show, not tell, I use adjectives and adverbs, right? Okay, then I've used starting with a dialogue to start. And then I also had a setting where I introduced my characters. Okay. Okay, right. And then, of course, all these other things, right? Do you all have any questions about this? Are you all okay? Am I going too fast? Do you all understand what I'm doing? Okay. Now, I have videoed the second half of this. So there's some parts of this that are being videoed. So if you need to revisit this, I will make the video available to you, because I was going through quite fast at some points. Okay, so do not worry. This part where I bring everything together, I have videoed it. So if you need the video, ask me for it. I won't post it on YouTube because your faces are on it. Okay, and I don't want your faces to appear on YouTube. So I will not be posting this video on YouTube. But if you need this video, you need to refer to it, you need to look into it again to revise yourself, then let me know. I'll send you the link privately. You can watch this video and revise again. Okay, I will make this document available to you, this introduction available to you. And I will also send you a few models and some notes. Like today, I started with adverb. I haven't covered starting with adverbs yet. So I will also put that into the notes for all of you. All of this will be sent to you via the class chat group immediately after this lesson is over. And it is 11:55, same time as when we ended yesterday. So I'm going to stop here because I'm talking a lot. Do you all have any questions for me? If not, right, I remind all of you, after you have received your marked draft from me, please write a third draft of your composition using feedback from my marking of your second draft. Include at least 5 of the big seven strategies. Okay, by 5 of the 7, you know what I mean, right? The 7 that we covered yesterday. Include 5 of them in your third draft and then send it to me by Monday. Okay, I give you extension timeline till Monday for your compo, third draft. Okay, then your MC test 5, which you should be holding with you now, the entire paper booklet A and B, right? Don't do the compo. This compo I already did for you already. Don't do this. Just do booklet A and B. You pass to me by Wednesday. Okay, why do I say Wednesday? Because all of us are going back to school on Wednesday. Okay, I don't know if you're aware of this, but if the situation continues to be okay, COVID-wise, then on Wednesday, everybody will be back in school at 8 o'clock. And you will have lessons until about 1 o'clock. Okay, all subjects, all students. Okay, so you heard it first from me, right? There will be a confirmation. If nothing changes, by this weekend, you all should get the confirmation, okay, for next week. But I'm hoping to see all of you in the flesh, face-to-face on Wednesday, okay? My lesson will be with you. I want you to bring everything back. If we have the lesson on Wednesday, right, I want you to bring the 2 bundles back, your bundle A and your bundle B. I want you to bring it all back, okay? Then we will go through the stuff that you're supposed to hand up to me when we get to school. All right, so I say again, Monday, deadline for compo, draft 3, the one about something you regret. Wednesday, the deadline for MC test 5, booklet A and B with annotations. Then we're going to do some comprehension related things using MC test 5. So you must complete it. Okay, Ken? That's all for today. It's 11:58. I ended before 12. I fulfilled my promise. Okay, if there's no questions and you have no problems at all, and you have nothing that you would like to ask me, please, you are free to enjoy the rest of your day and the weekend. There'll be no more lessons this week. Okay, I'll update you all about what happens next week. Okay, bye.